Hello everyone, Crystal Wildfyre Anthony here with another episode of Spreading Like Wildfire on MuscleSport TV. Today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about muscle growth. What I want to talk about in particular with muscle growth is I get this question quite often: how can I make my bicep peaks grow? And the problem with that is you really can't. Now let me explain. You cannot make just one part of any muscle grow. So either you are going to have, genetically, you're going to have peaks to your biceps, or genetically you don't. So when you have any muscle, whether it's your biceps, whether it's your legs, your quads, your hamstrings, your pecs, your shoulders, whatever muscle it is, you have insertion points to your muscles. And so, like, with your bicep, you're going to have an insertion point here, and you're going to have an insertion point here. That's where, you can see where mine are. So that muscle has its own insertion points. You cannot make that muscle just partially work. I can't do anything that just makes this little spot here on my bicep peak work without working the rest of it. Because the way your muscles are, it's either working and flexing or it's not. The whole thing flexes and works or it doesn't. You're not going to be able to just work this little section of the muscle and not the rest of it. Another one of the things people will ask is, how do I get my biceps, like they have very short biceps, and they may have a lot of peak, but they're very short. And so you can see I've got a gap here. Some people have even more of a gap, and they want to know, how can I fill in that gap? How can I fill in that gap? You really can't. If your insertion point is here for your bicep, you might be able to make this bigger here and make the whole thing grow, but you're not going to move that insertion point where, your muscle and then the tendon in turn attaches to the bone. You can't move that. So the problem with that is like I said, you can't grow a peak to your muscles if you genetically don't have peaks in there. You'll see a lot of people have really long, flat biceps. You'll see some people that have that freaky peak that even comes up in peaks and kind of flattens out and comes down. That's just genetics and how their biceps are shaped. Now you can make that whole entire bicep grow bigger in whatever shape it is, but you're not going to be able to change those insertion points or change the shape of that muscle. The same goes with legs. Some people will say, I want more quad sweep. And that's fine. If you want more quad sweep, then you're going to work that muscle of the quads, because you've got more than one in there. You're going to want to do exercises that works that outer aspect of your quad to get that bigger so that it goes out more. So you're able to grow that muscle bigger, but you're not technically changing the actual shape of your quads, because where it inserts at the top and where it inserts down below closer to your knee is where it inserts. You're just making the whole thing bigger, which then makes your legs look bigger and a different shape. It's rounder, it's bigger. So you're not really changing the true shape of the muscle. You're just making the whole thing bigger, which then changes the shape of your leg. So unfortunately, for those of you that genetically don't have really peaky biceps, you're not going to be able to get them. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't bust your ass and get your biceps as big as possible. You most certainly can. So what I would suggest is going out there, doing all kinds of exercises. I mean, you do have, the bicep is made up of a couple different muscles in there. You've got a long head, you've got short muscle in your bicep. So you can work both of those muscles a little differently depending on what your goals are, so that one may grow more than the other one. But again, you're not going to change the shape of it. So what you need to do is just go out there, work with what God gave you, and just make that as big as possible. So then it really doesn't matter if you've got freaky peaks or if you just got a big fucking bicep. That's really all that matters. So whatever God gave you, work with, make that big, make it huge, make it all stand out. And really, in the end, nobody's going to care if you've got some, weird, freaky, peaky biceps. They're just going to care if you've got big, massive muscles. So that's my 2 cents worth today here on Spreading Like Wildfire. Make sure that you guys keep watching MuscleSport TV and all the new videos that we've got coming up. And I've got a few things in store for you guys for the month of June, so make sure you keep watching this channel.